So, I've seen the FNaF movie about 3 times by now. I saw an early screening on Wednesday, saw it again on Thursday, and saw it on Peacock on Friday, and I might watch it again after recording this. And all I have to say is that I just loved the movie. I loved it so much. But before I ramble endlessly about the movie, I do want to warn that there will be spoilers in this video. So I recommend watching the movie and just seeing it for yourself, because it's a wonderful experience, and I definitely recommend watching it for yourself and drawing your own conclusions. Before I ramble about the things that I loved about the movie, some things that I didn't exactly enjoy was, the first thing is the pacing. I felt like the pacing was a bit off in some places. I felt like they could have lingered on some shots some more and fleshed out certain scenes, and some things didn't really feel that impactful. I definitely felt like they could have foreshadowed some things some more, like the relationship between Vanessa and William. Vanessa being the one who is a child of William in this movie, which is a very big twist. It had me jumping in my seat in the theater. But yeah, I felt like they could have foreshadowed that more and make it feel more impactful, delve deeper into Vanessa's relationship with the pizzeria, maybe fleshed out William some more, give him some more scenes, give him some more character, foreshadow him as, foreshadow Steve Raglan as William Afton. But that's not to say that I disliked anything about them. I really liked how they handled Vanessa's character. I really liked how they handled William. I thought the twist of Vanessa being William's daughter, I thought that was a really cool and very creative decision for the movie. It was a bit interesting. It took some getting used to, but overall I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish they did more with William in the Spring Bonnie suit, because some of it didn't feel super impactful with how he kind of just came and went really fast. I wish they just did a little bit more with him, but overall, those minor gripes aren't really anything to make me dislike the movie. I loved the movie. I loved how the characters were handled. I loved the relationships with all the characters. I loved the sibling relationship between Mike and Abby. I really liked the friendship, the quote-unquote friendship between Mike and Vanessa. I thought the characters in general were just really well written, especially with how they interact with each other. Like how Abby interacts with the missing children, how Mike interacts with Abby, how Abby interacts with Vanessa, how Vanessa interacts with Mike. Although I did feel like in some spaces, some dialogue was a bit weird, like how Vanessa threatens to shoot Mike. I felt like that was really out of nowhere. They could have probably done something a little better, like, if you bring Abby back here again, you won't like what happens. And I feel like that could have probably foreshadowed, like if you rewatched it, you'd be like, oh, that kind of foreshadows William in some way. But like, I feel like I will shoot you. Like, that escalated a little bit unnecessarily. There were some interesting choices, but overall, I just really enjoyed everything. The atmosphere to the pizzeria was wonderful. The atmosphere to basically just everything was wonderful. Even in places where I didn't really expect, like Mike's house and some of the scenes at the mall, everything just felt really fitting, and I can't really place it, but it was very, very fitting. The atmosphere was just wonderful, the characters and how they interacted with everything, it was wonderful. Even the animatronics, they were amazing. They were much more than I anticipated for. How they acted, how they interacted, it was just, everything was so wonderful. Even the scenes where the animatronics were friendly to Abby, I thought those were really sweet and cute, and I thought it just fit so well because, of course, there's ghosts of children who are controlling the animatronics, so of course they're gonna be nice to Abby, who is another child. That's been a thing since FNaF 2, with the toy animatronics just staring at adults but acting fine towards children. I felt like that was a really cool thing for them to expand upon more in the movie. I felt like all of the characters were just handled extremely well. All the characters are just so memorable. Even like the more like side characters like Doug, how he just stares, like it's just funny. Like a lot of things are just funny and memorable, and it's all just so good. Everything is just filled to the brim with personality, and that's what I was hoping for this movie. Everything just has its own personality, and I think that's so great. Some other things that I'm really happy with was, of course, the supernatural side and how the movie fleshed out things from the games, like how the spirits work. It's exactly how they work from in the books and in the games, and it's more straightforward, it's more fleshed out, and I think that's really wonderful. And of course, there's things like the music. The music was wonderful. The movie in general is just a lot more gory than I would have expected, because, there's like barely any gore scenes. There's barely any gore in general in FNaF, and I think it's really funny because there's probably gonna be a lot of people saying, oh, the movie had no gore in it, when in actuality, the movie is probably the only Five Nights at Freddy's media to have, like, the most amount of on-screen visualized gore. I feel like that's a little bit funny. But there was a lot that really shocked me and surprised me, and I'm just so happy with how the movie was handled. And all of the details, all of the atmosphere, all of the characters, everything just felt perfect. And even though it wasn't a perfect movie, it was just really fun to experience. Some closing thoughts I had was, one, the scene where William is getting spring locks and he says, I always come back. I've seen a lot of people say that it was forced, but I don't know, I felt like it was perfect. Like, he's putting on the suit, he knows that he's probably going to possess it, like, he knows what happened to the children, so he knows it's possible for him to possess it. So, like, I feel like him saying, I always come back before putting on the spring body head, I feel like that was really fitting. I don't know why people say it was forced. Some other things, some people have been saying that the springlock suit Abby almost gets, shoved in. I've seen a lot of people say that it was a baby springlock suit, but it's actually Ella from the books, which honestly is kind of interesting, because the last appearance of Ella, she was an alarm clock, and this movie has a lot of emphasis on dreams and, like, dream theming, so I think, an alarm clock being made into a suit, that's kind of interesting, I think. I don't know what it could mean. Even if it does mean anything, it could just be a funny jab, but, like, still, that's kind of interesting. And, I just really like how the movie handled a lot of the story of Five Nights at Freddy's, like how it handled the history, how it handled, William. I thought it was so cool seeing, like, the full spring Bonnie design. I really didn't expect that, but I was so happy to see it. And I'm really happy with how they handled how the spirits work. It's very accurate, very faithful to the games and the books. Really happy to see that the crying child actually has a name now, so that's really cool to see. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It was so wonderful to see, it was so wonderful to experience, and I can't wait for the next one. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe. If you didn't, feel free to subscribe anyway, because you might like a different video. And have a great day, night, or heat death of the universe, depending on what time you're watching, and goodbye.